In my last video where I spoke about what I would do to bring Trapper up the ladder, I mentioned the suggestion of an inbuilt bonus for unique hooks. And you know what? I decided to commit making a video where I will give each killer one. With that said, I already mentioned Trapper in my last video, but Minska took all of my viewers from me anyways. So I have to repeat it. Trapper on a unique hook will have all of his disarmed traps to become active again. It's overall more beneficial to him than giving him, 2 traps back to his kit, which he then has to set up and rearm again? Nah. Wrath. Wrath is a bit tough, because his kit is just so plain. He doesn't have any cooldowns whatsoever that can be refreshed or traps to be rearmed again. An idea that I have in mind is to make Wrath like Ghostface, being capable of instantly attacking out of cloaked mode. Though I wish this as to be the basis for Wrath. As a unique hook bonus, we can dip our toes into the water with that. Hillbilly gets overdrive on a unique hook. Nurse. Nurse will benefit from a third blink, which she can only use once after a unique hook. We could also add a timer to the third blink. This should overall just help her on map traversity. Michael, of course, fill up his Evil Incarnate charge rate by 50 to 70%. The Hag. Hag is one of those killers that could so much benefit from a haste bonus, so I would give her 10% haste on a unique hook and or let her once teleport to a trap regardless of it being activated. Herman, cooldown refresh for a static shock. Yet I think this won't be enough, so I don't know. He could also gain 10% haste, why not? Wait, illusions. Illusions everywhere. Fake doctors and pellets everywhere on a unique hook. Bubba. Maybe a 4 stack on his tantrum? Similar to Nurse, would have a timer then, and can only be used once after a unique hook. Huntress. I just wanna get rid of her lullaby. Like, give her a timer or until she takes a health state before she starts to yodel again. Freddy. Cooldown refresh for his dream projection, and his dream snare and pellets instantly puts the next survivor into the dream world. You can expect for all killers with a teleport that has a cooldown from me to give them a refresh here. Okay guys, Pig is going to be a bit more interesting. Hence her main gimmick are the reverse bear traps, which are limited by 4 per match and are gone as the game's runtime keeps going most of the time. On a unique hook, the Pig will gain a reverse bear trap in her kit. It will dissipate after 2 minutes if it's not being used on a survivor. This will pretty much be serving as a temporary solution for her main gimmick to be part of her at all times. Nerf Pig, my arm. Clown. Just strengthen his bottles until he refreshes them. Spirit. I really don't want to buff this nightmare of an accessibility issue. Anyways, I would go for something like what was originally planned for her. Next time she enters her power, she will ignore terrain. Legion. Refreshment for Frenzy, and when you use it, it immediately reveals a survivor. Plague. I'm all in for changing her so that she does not need to go towards her pools, because it's, especially in the current days of DBD, a huge time consumption for Plague players to do so. This change is just like Res dipping toes in the water. On a unique hook, she gains her corrupt purge from the furthest pool. Ghost Phase. Reveal immunity for the next 30 seconds. Demo Doggy. Also with him, I had an idea that I would like to implement as into his base kit. Blight, Wesker, Dracula, who is especially just Demogorgon done a million times better in every aspect, have all multiple dashes, so Demo should get this treatment as well. Demogorgon gets a shred redirect, which would work similar to Houndmaster, which he can perform once after a unique hook. Oni. Oni to me is an almost perfect killer. In fact, he already has Boni, Oni, on hooking survivors, so I would just change it so when he tunnels that survivor, will give less blood orbs. It's pretty much a nerf, but there isn't a lot that further can be done with him. I would just like him to have his M1 play some minor buffs, increased vault speed and such, but this should come with his charge rate. Who's next? Yeehaw! Caleb should get a reduced terror radius. I'm all in for making his base terror radius 24 meters, so this bonus will reduce it to a whopping 60 meters instead for about 45 seconds or so. Pyramid Head. Not sure. I give him 10% haste for 15 seconds. I couldn't think of anything else. Blight. Also a killer I would hate to buff. I cannot give him any more dashes because he already has 5 of them. He first up needs a nerf before any major buffs can be done. So all I would do is refresh his ability on a unique hook. A nerf that I would suggest though, if you ask me about Blight, he should have an injection mechanic button, which would roid him up and then is able to break pallets and walls. Oh yeah, and maybe make him 4.4. Twins. If Victor is crushed, he'll be immediately recharged for the next 30 seconds. Trickster. I could go the Hunter's route with him, but Trickster isn't someone like Hunters who should know when to shut up for once. I kind of want to wait and see what behavior is gonna do in his rework next year. So for now, all I'm going to suggest here is a refresh for main event. Nemi. Speaking of reworks, I have an entire plan for how Nemesis can be improved on, but this will have to wait. On your unique hook, Nemesis mutation rate increases by 30%. Also, more of a nerf. Infected survivors that are not unique hooks will lose their infection. You know what? Let's give that to Plague as well. Pinhead. Chain Hunt charge rate will increase by 50%. Carmina. We could do such cool shit with her power. Instead, we just let some birds' heads fly straight forward. In one of my videos, I said already what I would change about Artist to make her more fun and give her more tools of torment to her ability. Like, she could be such an amazing creative killer if she wasn't limited by one move. In the video, I mentioned Crow Eruptions as a form of an alternative playstyle than just doing global shots where you have to predict where a survivor is in the next 10 seconds. Like, no wonder no one is playing her. Anyways, unique hook bonus to Artists, this add-on for our next 3 crows basically. Sadako, all TVs become active again. The Dredge. Would hate it honestly, Nightfall charge rate increased by 50%. Wesker. 2v8 guys. Wesker, similar to Nurse, gains a temporary third dash, which he can use once. Same thing as with Nemesis, survivors who get tunneled lose the infection. Night. All guards are refreshed, and those who are still active, be it patrolling or chasing a survivor, also have their runtime reset. Scully. God, I wish we had stealth drones back, because she would be similar to Trapper. All her drones will be put back into stealth mode, even the disabled ones. As of her current form though, it would basically be just that her disabled drones become active again. Hux. This guy really doesn't need a buff either. But also there would just do a similar thing. Disabled biopods will be active again, and slipstreams will be lost on tunnel survivors. Here we go. Xenomorph. I really want to yap more about my killer, but I've got to stick with what's there in this video. Since flamethrowers are the biggest enemy to this guy, unique hooks will disable flamethrower turrets and control stations will be blocked for survivors for 20 seconds. Hashtag no tracking for turrets. Chucky, Harmless, Vecna and Drag all get the same thing, cooldown resets. Porsche, same idea what I gave on my video. Survivors with Hound Sense will be revealed by Killer Instinct for like 2 to 3 seconds. Ghoul. Ghoul will reset the timer of enraged state should he perform a unique hook in it. Springtrap. Unique hooks will discharge the door's batteries. I thought about reveal immunity, but this would do absolutely nothing when survivors can still know about your location. Also, Ghostface benefits more from it as it would prevent survivors kicking him out of his power, unlike with Springtrap. And lastly, the spaghetti monster, which I also kind of don't want to be buffed any further. Still, performing a unique hook on an infected survivor lets them stay infected, bringing that aspect back to her, and Headlong Flight will be refilled. And that wraps up my attempt for an anti-tunneling initiative. What do you think about them? Let me know in the comment section. Also suggest your own ideas there. I'd be curious for your thoughts on a subject like this if people in the community in general are on board for unique hook boni for each killer. This will be the last video for 2025 from me. I would like to do a wish list for what I want to see in 2026, but I'm not going to be done with this before Christmas now. So during the holidays, check YouTube posts for updates and quick thoughts of mine if you're interested, and I guess I see you next year. That's it for me. Don't get lost.